Let's go. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Sidetrack Sunday. This is the third edition of Sidetrack Sunday for the month of March. So 3 and 3. How about that? Hey, I got my friend Steven. He's actually here beside me with the, he's big into the Ashley Drew Northern. He grew up on it. And of course, I've had him on the show in the past, and he wanted to come back, and I was like, yeah, we could do a follow-up. So before I get him on with me, let's go through and see who is all here. While the schedule on that side is going, or it should be going. It looks like it might not be going. Oh, boy. So, yeah, it's going. It's just really slow. Yeah, see, told you. All right, so we got Arty from Ausmerica Model Railroading here. He says, yippee, I get gold because he's first. And St. Patrick's Day is already passed, so you missed the pot of gold, buddy. We got John with the Schuylkill River Valley. My mom, Kathy Wilson's here. We got Dwight Curley here, who is a channel member. So thank you, Dwight. We got Marty M., who is also a channel member, and he's got the Ashley Drew Northern logo beside his name, which is really cool for tonight's purpose. We got Opa Dodge, Anthony Dodge, the model train outsider. We got Andy Wellman here. And let's see, who else do we got in the house? We got Bill, New Fenris Railroad is here. We got Ron Brights. We got Container Man 68 is here as well. We got Boxcar Jerry in the house. We got, I call him Voodoo John, but that's a Mystic Southern Railway down in the southern part of Louisiana. We got Joe Rader and the Black Rock Central is here as well. We got Dave, BNSF N-Scale. We got Adam Cruz, Ron Moen, Al Mars here. We got Wigwag Workshop. Rock Creek Road Train Layout is here, so welcome. And let's see, who else we got here today? Thomas Grassi is here. We got Lehigh River Subdivision, and my chat just blew up on me because it looks like someone just became a channel member, and I think that is Ron Moen. So welcome aboard the Freak Train, Ron. That's probably the best way I can explain it. All right, so let's see if I can get back where I was. Yes, so we got Ian, Lehigh River Subdivision is here. We've got Split Rock. So Split Rock is a fellow Union Pacific employee. He is an engineer up in Minnesota.
Okay.
So he's up around the Twin Cities.
Oh, okay.
We got Caboose 121 here as well. Mr. Jimbo Trains. Nathan DeLay is here, so welcome, Nathan. If y'all have not seen Nathan's newest steam locomotive, it's really cool. He did a cab forward for CSX. It's pretty neat. Southern Yankee Trains is here. We got Ray Boebel, another one of the STS members in the house. We got Bernard C., Martin Siersma. Norman Rowe is here. Steve 87th PSAP, John Benicki. Grandpa Rails is here. We got Sparky 107. And we got Greg Runyons in the house. So welcome, Greg. And I finally caught up to welcome Ron Moen to the passengers level. So thank you, Ron. And let's see. Do we have anyone else here? Randall Ellison's here. Tim, CP368 Productions is here. Tom Strains and Things is also here, and I finally caught up to the chat, and looks like a couple more people popping in. We got Andrew Estep, and we got Nancy and the Spirit of Colorado Railroad's second try here as well, and I'm officially caught up with the chat. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to slide over, and like I said, I got my friend Steven here. Oh, and Steven, Rick, the Foltz Bailey Model Railroad has popped in the house. That is Rick the Tree.
Rick the Tree.
Yep. We got Nisi J here as well. Ghostman 526. So welcome, Ghostman. I think this is the first Sidetrack Sunday that I have seen you here. So welcome. And I think that is everyone. So if I miss you, I apologize. Just say hi again and say, hey, you missed me. And we will definitely try to say hi to you as well. So, like I said, I've got my friend Steven here, and he brought some custom stuff that he acquired from a, I don't know, the locomotives that you were showing me earlier.
Terry Holly painted.
Terry Holly. So Terry Holly was a guy that modeled the Ashley Drew Northern. He's passed away now, but he
lives in Monticello.
he was from Monticello, right? Yeah. So Monticello was the northern end of the line, which was Drew County, and so he brought some stuff that was custom painted. And I mean, I'm drooling over these things. Like I wish I had these on my layout, but check this out. The Switcher 1500, and no manufacturer makes these. So now this is the later of the paint schemes.
1509, when the Fordyce and Princeton was acquired after Rock Island bankruptcy, 1509, they changed the.
It's up here.
Okay. They changed the wheels and the tank on the engine, left the paint scheme alone, and made it Fordyce and Princeton 1503. And it lived its life on the Fordyce and Princeton.
And I think that one just ended its term. I think the Genesee and Wyoming finally pulled that locomotive.
No, 1503 went to Eastman Kodak, I think.
Eastman Kodak.
1504 was the other one. Old Rock Island was the one that just ended its life.
Yeah. Oh, it looks like we got more people popping in. We got Jack here. We got Manny Fernandez. And Mandy put up a super sticker. So let me do this for Manny. See if it'll pop right up. Yeah. Oh, of course, if I hit the right button. There you go, Manny. Thank you for that super sticker, man. I really appreciate it. And we got Real Toys Trains here as well. So welcome, Real Toy Trains. And there we go. All right, so this one here, so that first one that we showed you, that was a Athearn Blue box that he did. This one is a Broadway Limited. So this one, of course, is going to have some more detail. So here we go.
Switch engines, 1205, that we had within the plant there at Crossett.
I mean, beautiful locomotive. We were hoping to run these today, but we found out that they were DC. So these would run on Ray Boebel's layout because that's all he ran is DC. But all it wanted to do was light up and hum on mine. So didn't go very far. But yeah, I mean, even the striping, like down here, I mean, he did an excellent job on these.
Oh, yeah.
And, of course, all of the grab irons are metal. They're not plastic. Yeah, I mean, this is a really, really nice model.
From the good old days of modeling when they were steel and they didn't bend and break so easy.
Right. So, all right, let's see here. Did anyone else pop in? Jeff, the railroad enthusiast, is here. So, welcome, Jeff. And I think that's all we got on that one. So, hey, if y'all got any questions for my buddy Steven, put them in the chat. So that way, and make sure you tag at the Train Freak so that way it highlights. So that way I know to ask questions.
I'll do my best.
This is going to be pretty much just kind of a Q&A. We're just going to be kind of hanging out. Nothing really so far planned, but, you know, that's kind of how I like to do things, right? All right. So Nathan DeLay actually has a question. Has the model been modified, or was it already like that from the factory, or is it scratch built? So that would be more of a modified.
Yeah, modified. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a.
They were
undecorated.
Undecorated, yeah. So they were undecorated models, and so let's say custom painted.
Custom painted. All of his stuff was.
Yeah, custom painted. So, and thank you, Marty M, for saying hit that thumbs up. See if I can find that. There we go. Yes, that always helps. The good thumbs up. So let's see here. And Bill says, well, time to put a DC line into my layout. No, I'll pass. My son, who's got N-scale, his is DC. I'm sure we could have probably hooked some alligator clips from his rail to a stick of, HO track to see if that would actually work. But no, I'm not going to put the DC in the layout. So Tim is saying that he just checked on 1509, and it went to Rail Link and then Golden Isles as 1503.
1503 went to Eastman Kodak for a while. I do know that.
Yeah.
So after that, I don't know.
Gotcha.
It's been so long ago.
So there you have it.
Thank
so
you for that.
Real Toys Trains is saying, "What's up, yeah?" And of course, Mystic. I've actually got them losing to Gonzaga in the Sweet 16. I'm actually surprised they won the last game.
Ask that guy that 1503 if you got a picture of it.
So Tim, do you have a picture of 1503?
Those Golden Isles.
Yeah. All right, so I don't know if Jeff is asking this question to me or question to you.
I don't have a layout right now.
Well, then it's got to go to me.
Yeah.
Jeff, I don't even have half of my layout that I want yet. So, cheapest way to make a layout, do it in stages. That is probably going to be the cheap. I mean, when you think about the long term, there's really no cheap. You know, you could say what I was told by a older model railroader that we both know personally is no matter what scale you choose, in the long run, you're going to be spending about the same. And Split Rock wants to know, what's a Gonzaga? A Gonzaga is some type of university out close to Steve 87th. That's all I know. I have no clue what a Gonzaga is. Nathan wants to know if you got any Jeep 30s with you.
No, I do not.
Yeah, actually, during Northern didn't have any Jeep 30s.
We had GP28s. We had, I think, 4 of those. We had GP10s. We had GP28s.
Yep, and then the other big power y'all had was CF7s.
CF7s, yes, that's correct.
Yep. Which this guy here gave me a really good deal on 2 CF7s. So, all right, Thomas, there is your answer. It's a college in Spokane, Washington. So, and Thomas is also saying don't make a layout cheap, and he is exactly right on that. But if you're wanting to get in on it, you could always start out with plywood planes. Is what we call it. You know, just start off with, you know, like a 4x8 sheet of plywood, slap some track on it, make a single loop with maybe a sight, you know, some type of spur in the middle, and, you know, then, you know, build up with scenery and stuff. And then you can always take that track apart and add on like another sheet later if you wanted to. Definitely if you got that dream layout in mind, you definitely want to research and design, you know, into your design and stuff. Do a lot of research.
CF7 look like you got one over there.
Yes, I do have a CF7, so I can go grab it real quick. So scratch build everything, buy at train shows. Yes, that is really the cheapest way you could go, scratch building. All right, so Container Man wants to know what a CF7 looks like, and it looks like Ray Boebel posted a photo for us. All right, so let me grab the CF7 because I have it, or I had it over here. Where did I set it?
They're both over here.
Oh, yeah, I moved them. That's right. Duh. All right. Let's take it out of the box. Why not? Hey, we got Scott, Hillbilly Railroad here. What's going on, Scott? Set that there.
Just for information, Ashley Junior Northern had 2 CF7s, 15, 13, and 14. And our numbering system being the 1500 was the horsepower of the locomotive. 13 was the number that the engine was in the roster. So 15, 13, 15, 14. They came from the Santa Fe, Claiborne, Texas. Russell Tedder, who was then the president of the Ashley Junior Northern, purchased 4 of those engines for $20,000 apiece. 2 for AD&N and 2 for his other railroad that he had just started in Mississippi called the Gloucester Southern, which went from Gloucester, Mississippi to Slaughter, Louisiana, with a connection to the Illinois Central. It served a plywood mill, chip mill down there. So the CF7s were very good running engines. GP and my father took care of them meticulously, and they ran effortlessly. They were good pulling engines. They had good motors. They when you teamed them with an 1800 or a 1500 or teamed them together, they ran excellent.
Yep.
They were good for short lines. A lot of short lines acquired these CF7s all over the country. And Dad and Russell were just one of the ones that happened to acquire them back in the day.
There you go. The CF7 almost as ugly as the BL2.
A lot of people don't like them, but they were good running engines.
Yep. So, and one of the cool things about the way Ashley drew a Northern, Russell Tedder, did his numbering on the locomotives. The first two numbers, 15, that was actually meaning the horsepower rating of the locomotive. So the 1513 was really locomotive 13, but it was a 1500 horsepower locomotive, and that's why he named it 1513.
And we had before that it was the 1810 and 11, which were our first GP10s, and then we got the 1812, which was ex-Illinois Central Jeep 28, and then we had the 1513, 1514, yep. And then we got two more 1800s, 1815 and 1816.
Yep. So yeah, these are really, really cool locomotives. The only thing that I see wrong on this locomotive is actually on the back end. They forgot to put the stripes.
And the stripes on the front were the stripes on the Ashley Drew Northern engines were out, not in like that.
Yeah.
They didn't go down. They went
1514 was like this though, right?
15. Those two were, yes.
Yeah. So
that's how Santa Fe painted them at Claiborne. For some reason, they put the stripes on upside down.
So, all right. So there is the CF7.
He has 1912.
So Rick actually ended up buying my two Walthers locomotives, and he got my Walthers caboose too. So I actually ended up selling all that and putting sound in it for him. And so he got the 1810, and then I renumbered one of the 1810s to an 1812. But that was back before,
yes, that is correct.
And then, so Tim, 1810 is now in Florida on the First Coast. That's 1811 correct. Ran across recently in research, but he can't remember the current owner. So, and I saw we had some questions from Nathan. So let's see.
Can you pull up that picture of the 1503?
Yeah, let's see if we can pull this link up.
I'd like to see that.
Let's see if it'll let me pull the link up. Let's see. Yeah, it's not giving me a hyperlink to pull up, so that stinks.
Okay.
So I'll probably have to open it up in open the chat up in YouTube to do that. So
okay, that's fine.
Yeah, we'll look at it later for sure.
Okay, that's fine. Appreciate the picture. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Ray. All right, so do you have any steam engines? I also wonder if you can make a scrap train with steam engines that looks like they're Bing sent me to the scrapyard. I'm not sure what Nathan's talking about. Bing, or maybe that they're being sent to the scrapyard. I think that's probably what he meant. I do know that the Ashley Drew Northern did have steamers back in the day.
Long before my time.
Yeah. Our time for sure. They ran, doing some research, they ran 280 consolidation style locomotives. There is a website, I think it's hawkinsrail.net, that's got a very good article.
Hawkins did a lot of research.
Yeah, on that. And there are some pictures on there. So let's see here.
York Rail. Yeah, I told you that they went all over the country with Shortlines.
Let's see here. Let's get back in with the chat. And, of course, Nathan is saying that the railroad that he likes, which is the Reading and Northern, they had some back in the 80s. So that's pretty cool. All right.
No.
So did the Ashley Drew Northern had any Greenville wood chip cars?
No, you have one of those AD&N chip cars. Do you not? Is it handy? Just did. No, I don't know.
Yeah.
AD&N did not.
They're all in there.
Okay. AD&N did not have any Greenville chip cars. No.
No, the 40-footers that I've got that Athern recently did and then Bowser also recently did, those would have been ex-Mopac cars. Now, they did have another type of wood chip car. It was the Gundersons. Which ones were the ones that I saw the GSPX recently?
I don't remember who made those, but yeah, they had some of those that were wandering out of North Carolina. They weren't actually online.
Yeah.
They weren't at Crosset. The only ones that we had at Crosset were the ex-Mop cars.
Gotcha.
If those other ones showed up at Crosset, they were broken or lost.
All right, so Ray sent the link in Google IM, so let me see if I can pull that up. And we'll see if we can't try to share that. So let's do a screen share. So this is the 1503 currently.
Oh, wow.
So it's pretty interesting.
Jesse Rowling.
Yep.
No wonder I didn't realize.
Yeah. Good old G&W. Gotta love them. They like to repaint all of their cars.
At least there's that same name on it, number on it.
Yeah. Give it that one. Now was that? Yeah, that was the one that you said came out of Mississippi, right?
1503.
Yeah.
No.
Or was that the one that came off the F&P?
That's the F&P.
F&P.
Dad had the 1509 became the 1503. Have you noticed they changed the trucks to Flexicoil trucks, and they changed the fuel tank, and they acquired a ex-Rock Island SW15, the 945. I think it was a blue.
Okay.
At Silvis. And it came to cross it with those Flexicoil trucks and the small fuel tanks, so they had to make them look the same.
Gotcha.
So they changed the fuel tank and the trucks on that one, and they ran as a set.
Huh. So there you go.
The 1504 did not have handrails on the side when it came prior Rock Island. So whenever it came to cross it, they put the handrails on the side to make them both look the same. And they ran great as a set too, the 1503 and the 1504.
Okay, well, awesome. All right, let's we'll get that screen down. Looks like we got Troy Broderick popped in, so welcome, Troy. And I see Rail Artist popped in too.
1811's down in Chattahoochee now.
Oh, there you go.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so Nathan wants to know, do you have any F7s?
I do not.
But the closest thing that you got to an F7 would be
The CF7.
the CF7,
Yep.
which actually came from an F7.
That's right. It was built from an F7 when Santa Fe rebuilt them in Claiborne, Texas.
Yeah. All right, and Nathan wants to know, do you have your own YouTube channel?
Not yet.
Not yet.
CF7 means converted F7.
Yeah.
So that's what it means.
So you do not have your own YouTube channel yet?
Not yet. No.
Not yet. Well, we definitely got to get you one.
All right, let's work on it.
So
I would love that.
And so, like I said, Real Artist, glad to have you here tonight, and he's happy to be here tonight. And I am glad you are feeling much better, brother. Hey, we got Wicked Insanity here, so welcome. All right, we got another question from your fellow coworker.
Okay.
From another division.
Okay.
What equipment did the AD&N AD&N have that is not available to model from? That would be a lot.
Yeah, we had a lot of manufacturers have done Astrodule Northern equipment, box cars, chip cars, engines, cabooses. Let's see, we had
where's that caboose? That one that I got you.
Actually, they did some in-scale wood cars not too long ago. Atlas did those, I think.
Is your caboose back here? Yeah.
Yeah, it's back there.
Nope, that's in that box.
GP28s. Nobody's done a GP28 yet. Nobody's done any that I know of. SW1500.
There it is.
AD&N stuff.
You want to show that one out?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, we can. Yeah, might as well leave it like this.
Okay, that's fine.
So Proto 2000, and this is, of course, they don't make this no more. But this is the only prototypical caboose that we could actually find. And so he has one, I have one. It's the exact same number because they only did one number.
When AD&N had it, it was green, though.
Yeah.
I don't remember the red caboose. It was red. It was green when we came to cross it in 74.
So what we might have to do
green
is
and yellow.
Get this one, repaint it green. And I'll see if my buddy John, Schuylkill River Valley, can make us some decals for it.
I think it was green and yellow when we came, but it became solid green over time.
But yeah, for in scale, I mean, locomotive wise, you're going to have to, and Rick, knows this as well, but you would have to 3D print something because I don't know of anything in scale where they made a GP10 and a GP28. No manufacturer makes it, not even Undex.
Well, actually, Intermountain did some Jeep 10s not too long ago, but
but they're HO.
I know, but the Paducah Jeep 10 they did had a round roof. AD&N's had a square roof, and they, for some reason, just will not do a square roof.
Yeah.
GP10. That's the first Paducah GP10 I've ever known be made. So And that would be a really nice set to have if they'd ever do a Paducah Jeep 10 with the good job they did on the Illinois Central and the other ones.
So 1810 lasted in AD&N paint until he thinks 2016. So
Yeah,
just a few years ago.
I remember seeing it, pictures of it on realpictures.net or over in the.
Better that they repaint the engines rather than just leave them unkept like a lot of rails do. That's true too. That's true. All right. So Jack is saying that was the service switcher we used where I used to work when it was a Conrail.
Oh.
So
I'm learning too.
Yeah. Nathan is saying Reading and Northern has a lot of them of the same type of locomotives, and he has a model of the same type, but of Reading and Northern. So Nathan makes some really cool stuff. I've actually got some of it right here behind us that you can't see on camera.
Okay.
I could probably, I don't know if I could angle my camera up there, but yeah, those little blue locomotives up there, Nathan made for me.
Okay.
So yeah, he's pretty good at stuff like that.
I'll have to look at those.
Yeah, and he made them out of pop cans.
Oh wow!
So just a regular Coca-Cola cans. How we made that.
I'll look at it.
All right, hey, John Nofel's here. So welcome, John. Randall Ellison says I saw a Jeep 60 and Santa Fe blue and yellow a few days ago. Oh, that's cool. So he saw the blue bonnet. Now Randall is the railroad taxi drivers, like what I call him. But he is assigned to BNSF's, what subdivision? Randall, you have to put your subdivision in there, but it's the one that goes right through Jonesboro down to Memphis. Thayer sub.
BN, yeah.
Yeah. So he works off of that. So he gets to see a lot of cool stuff. And
goes over through Hoxie.
Yeah. Does it? Yeah, it goes through Hoxie. Yeah, you're right. Over to Black Rock and that way.
Yeah.
So. And he said the UP local was working in Jonesboro the other day. He was there too. And that they were using a GP60 down there as well. All right. So were the Jeep 28s a rebuild of the Jeep 7918? So I do know the Jeep 10s are rebuilt GP9s.
Correct.
That I do know. I did catch a GP8 recently that was a Arkansas Midland down in Gurdon, Arkansas.
That's correct.
And I found out that was actually an ex-Reading GP7.
Wow.
It was a Paducah rebuild.
Yeah.
So GP28s.
Not really sure.
Yeah, I'm not real sure on that.
There weren't very many of them. I do know that.
Did they come from Paducah as well?
Yeah, they were Paducah. Everything came to the Jeep 28s were rebuilt at Paducah by Illinois Central. They were an interesting breed of engine because there weren't very many of them. Yeah. But I don't know the whole history about them.
All right. So the 1810 was kept in beautiful condition its entire life. That's with correct. The GWI before the repaint. No. GWI just doesn't like having predecessor schemes.
No, they don't.
And then, of course, that upsetted Rick. How could you take Rick's logo, the tree, off of a locomotive? Shame, G&W.
I will say this, though. When the Genesee Lawman took over my father's railroads in January 2004, and by November they repainted the 1812 into Genesee Wyoming paint. And I first saw it down there in Bastrop, Louisiana for the very first time.
Yeah.
I was in tears. I couldn't believe they'd done that to the beautiful Asher Jewel Northern Railroad.
All right.
I couldn't believe it.
So I see a good question for me coming up here in a minute because we got our other STS cohort, Heath, Humanity Junction, in the house. But, Stephen, have you ever heard of the BNSF's Franken loco?
Yes and no. Maybe in passing somebody might have told me about it, but I don't remember much about it.
Now, Randall, is that the one where it's got the nose, it's got the tiger stripe, but it's a green BN style locomotive? Let me know if that's the one I'm thinking of. All right, so Gaboose 121 said he found an AD&N boxcar in N last week, and it was a nice surprise to find.
I've got some.
Yep, Aaron Freak Jr.'s got some. He's got quite a few AD&N stuff.
I got some chip cars.
He got some chip cars given to him from Possum Bayou, which I haven't seen here tonight. We got Dan's model railroading journey here. So welcome, Dan. All right, so Heath wants to know, why do I call at Mystic Southern Railway Voodoo John? And that's because Mystic Southern, he's been giving me the nickname The Beard, and because he lives down close to Nolans, or New Orleans, but we say Nolans. They all about that voodoo down there. So it's kind of a thing that happened. I want to say it might have happened in Boxcar Jerry's, one of his day chats or something. I don't remember when it started, but it's just something that me and John, we got something kind of going back and forth between each other. And Low Country Railroad, he says, hello, everyone. Late. Been in the train room. Oh, that's where we're at. We're in the train room. So, and you're not late. You're actually all on time. And good information, Tim. Tim is like he's our train encyclopedia. If anybody can really find any good information when I can't, it's Tim. So, but he's saying the Jeeps 28 were all factory built at EMD.
Okay.
So, and then Split Rock is saying that there were only 6 SD28s built for the U.S. market. So, of course, we all know the difference between a Jeep and a SD is the amount of axles.
That's correct.
Of course, they did have, GP stood for general purpose, and SD, I think, was special duty or something like that.
Yeah.
All right, let's see here. And I got to get caught back up with the chat. I'm running behind on that. And, of course, Container Man saying that his back's hurting because Voodoo John made a doll of Roy Hardwick. Driving no longer a red truck, but a white truck. He got a white truck now. All right, so, and at least most of the similar Apalachicola, Northern Apalachicola, golly, that's a tongue twister.
In Florida.
Painted locomotives have been repainted as well. I know
all Tennessee and Wyoming, everybody.
Little Rock and Western's another railroad.
Arkansas, Midland.
Arkansas. Well, I did, like I said, that Jeep 8 I saw was still in the black and red Midland. There's a few, but yeah, G&W's pretty much redoing them all.
Shortlines are pretty much non-existent as independent railroads anymore. It's just G&W's took every one of them. Now, there is the Missouri and North Arkansas Railway, which is a Class 2 regional. I did catch one of those that had a UP locomotive, and they just patched M&A on it. Yeah. So it'll probably end up turning into a black and orange locomotive, too. So Heath wants to know how everyone doing tonight. He's got to wake up at 4 a.m., so he is not looking forward to Monday, and I don't know many people who are. Dave, BNSF Inscale has an AD&N boxcar as well. Hang on to it.
Nathan wants to know, how many cab forwards do both of you have? I've got 2.
None.
I've got one that works. It's a Broadway Limited Southern Pacific cab forward, and then the other cab forward I have is the one it's right here. Oh. And this is the one Nathan made me. Because when I was doing some research on the cab forward, the prototype was actually called the Freak.
Wow, that's
and cool. I was like, Nathan, I got to have one of these just to have on a display shelf. So, Nathan, thank you very much for making me this Freak locomotive. It is.
Yeah.
And he made it out of pop cans.
Hey.
That looks like Mountain Dew.
Okay.
So, yeah, he did a real good job on that. Yeah, Mountain Dew for sure. See? Mountain Dew.
Mountain Dew.
So, I have 2. Nolans. That's right. Nawleans. That's how they pronounce it down in Louisiana. All right. And there you go. Ray Boebel saying only 26 Jeep 28s were ever built.
Yeah, not very many.
All right. So Randall is filling us in with the Franken locos. They're BNSF C449W, so dash 9s. He believes there's actually 2 of them, 4331 and 4551, that had the nose and radiator sections in Heritage 2 and the midsection in Heritage 1. So he's talking about paint schemes on that.
Okay.
All right. So Heath wants to know, are you an NCE or Digitrax, ESU, or Soundtrax?
NCE.
So he's an NCE guy. And then
ESU.
Yeah, that's what you had on your 2 Amtrak locos that you... But they came with ESU in it, so if you was to put in a sound decoder, since you've heard my Tsunami 2s.
I like those.
Yeah.
I like those. Probably make the engine run better.
Yeah, that too.
But I'm learning as I go.
See, I'm working on them.
I have good teachers in Arkansas.
Jack, he's big into ESU, if I'm not mistaken. He's got all them scale trains that come with ESUs in them.
Oh.
All right, let's catch down. Oh, okay, so it's not white, it's silver. Container Man's new truck is silver. He ditched the red for silver. All right, so the G&W bought the Ma and Pa years ago. I do not know which railroad the MAPA is.
Maryland, Pennsylvania.
Oh, okay.
Famous Ma and Pa. It's
See,
one of the other short lines, Maryland, Pennsylvania.
there you go. See, I'm learning something new.
I know short lines.
Yep. And Weber Model Railroad is here, so welcome, Lance. Lance is in the house. Now, that is true, Steve87. So when G&W does repaint their locomotives, the Herald does have a different logo in them. So they all don't just look like actual G&W. So they do have a little bit of differential. Now, I know some of them, like Arkansas Midland, has an ampersand in the middle, so that's kind of plain. But I think the Little Rock and Western has a Razorback in the middle of it.
I'd have to look at the engine again.
And I think the M&A has, it looks like the old Mop Screaming Eagle. If I'm not mistaken, that's what I've seen on that one. So, and there's still a few Utah Railway locos that G&W hasn't repainted yet either. Okay, so, and it merged with the neighbor, now part of the York Railway. So, Tim's talking about the Ma and Pa.
It's Nolans.
So, Nolans.
Nolans.
Nolans, that's right. All right, here we go. So, Split Rock is saying the AD&N Jeep 28s were former Illinois Central and Kansas, Oklahoma, and Gulf units. They were some pretty neat engines.
That's correct. The AD&N locomotives were the 1812 and 1805, which became Fordyce and Princeton 1805, 9429, and 9436.
And Heath wants to know, why did I shave my hair on the top, but I missed all of this down here. So that way, when you do another poll in the future, we can see how many people get it correct on 5 inches or 6 inches. You know, we got to track my growth, you know. He did a poll last week on his, asking people how long is my beard.
Oh.
It came out to be like 4.5 inches. But I didn't pull it straight either. I just kind of stuck the tape measure up under my chin. All right, so Randall's saying that the Franken Loco is numbered 5441. Sorry about that, but he has a video of it on his channel. So if you want to see the Franken Loco, and Shay's N scale says the Franken Locos are out in N scale, and he has both of them. Shay, this is not one that you sent me, correct? Because I know you sent me a BNSF N scale locomotive. It's actually in that black tray in the bottom on the ground. For me to install Soundtrack Tsunami 2 in. And Nathan is saying that he has made 3 cab Fords. And like I said, this is one of them. It's one of the coolest ones.
Yeah.
Now okay, so actually the one he just made is cooler because his runs. And he put sound in it. I don't know which sound he put in it, but he did put sound. And at least ESU specializes third sounds instead of general sounds. That's true, Steve. I understand that. But Soundtracks does have that digital dynamic exhaust that's really, really cool. So your locomotive really notches based on how hard it's working and not with the press of a button. So, or how many speed steps you have it in. It's based on how hard it actually works, if it notches up or down. None of the other manufacturers have that. All right, so Container Man says he actually ditched the red for the blue one, then gave that one up for the metallic silver. So for all of you who have a Container Man truck on your layout, if it's red, it's no good. You got to go trade it out now. All right, so Steven, how were the wood chip cars emptied?
Georgia Pacific inside the plant had what they call a shaker. It came down on top of the cars, shook the crap out of the car, and emptied the chips into a dump underneath it. The cars were had doors on them, and they opened the doors up, and the chips came out the bottom until the very end, and they had a rollover dump at the very end.
Yeah.
To turn the car completely over.
I'm looking to see if I could see one of my wood chip hoppers close, but I don't see one.
There's a mop.
Yeah, it's way over there. I don't feel like getting up again.
But that's how they did it. They shook them. And Dad was always working on the cars because the shaker would shake the car apart.
Okay. All right, Hillbilly, you have a good time with the wife on movie time. So have a good one, my friend. And holy smokes, Hot Rod Rodney 25 is in the house. Man, I have not seen you in a very long time. How are you doing, buddy? Man, it's been a while. And Shortline 614's here. So welcome, Shortline. I think you're new to this channel or new to Sidetrack Sunday. So the beard length is currently at Lumberjacks. Next will be Crazed Lighthouse Keeper. Then finally in the Wizard length. That is the goal. But I think the Wizard, I need a few more grays than what I currently have in here for that status. That might be, I don't know, where does ZZ Top kind of fit in the middle somewhere between the Lighthouse Keeper and the Wizard length?
What about Duck Dynasty?
Yeah, Duck Dynasty too.
Yeah.
So, let's see here. Yeah, Shay, I know you sent me the BLI. I was just curious if that was one of the Frank. Okay, yeah, you said the Franken Locos were all scale trains, so that makes sense. Duh. Yeah. And let's see here. And Steve thought Container Man's truck was pink, but only in his dreams. All right, so the wood chips. Where were they stored exactly?
Outside on the property in a big pile.
Big pile. So they probably used a conveyor coming out of the bin and.
No, well, they went out of the car into a big pile. They had a conveyor that shot them into a pile. I guess they would take like big tractors and move them that way.
So Randall is curious about that dynamic digital exhaust, dude. It's one of the coolest features. So the way it works is the decoder detects the amp stall of the motor in the locomotive. So let's say that you've got your locomotive and you're moving at speed step 20 with no cars behind it. It's going to have a little bit of an amp stall because it's got to in order to be to speed step 20. So it might say have that locomotive in like notch 2. But let's say that now you connected 10 cars or 20 cars to the back of that locomotive and you're moving at speed step 20. Well, now that motor is having to pull more, so there's a higher amp stall on it because now it's not just pulling the locomotive, but all the cars behind it. So now it's going to simulate, that decoder is going to simulate and say that locomotive is running in notch 4, 5, 6, depending. And the same thing happens if you got a train with different grades on your layout. So let's say you got, locomotive, 10 cars on the back of it. It's in notch 3. You're moving at the same speed step. You're not increasing the speed. But let's say you start to go up that grade. Well, that means that motor's having to pull harder, so it's going to automatically notch up. And then once it levels out, it will notch back down. And then when you go downhill, then it might go down to an idle state. So that's how that dynamic digital exhaust works. It's really, really cool feature. All right, let's see here, because I think I missed a few things. So Nathan is saying that he put a Digitrack sound decoder in it, and he put a regular non-sound decoder because the sound decoder is not designed to control trains, although it's designed for all the other functions. So that might be a Digitrack's thing, because I know some of the other manufacturers, their decoders do both. Okay. If you were to model the AD&N set in 2022, If they didn't close down, what would be the power that you would use now?
Well,
Keep in mind, it's a 40-mile short line.
I'd try to probably keep it the way it was. There was talk at some point. Russell was trying to get some bigger power on the railroad, but it never did materialize. So basically, I'd try to keep it pretty much the way it was.
Would you go with 6-axle locomotives to make the run between Crossett and Monticello?
Well, the railroad was not designed for that. It was only 90-pound rail. So
it's a 90-pound rail. So
yeah.
What about
Jeeps were the thing.
Jeeps. So what about like like a Dash 8, B40 or B8-40?
Possibly.
Yeah, something like that.
Well, there's another railroad called the Natchez Trace and Orient that a gentleman has done. I'm not quite sure where it is, but if you look it up on YouTube, he's painted some Dash 8s and different locomotives that were not acquired by the AD&N and AD&N colors in his railroad. And what ifs,
So there's a company, I think it's Tangent, is now making they're making those models of the Natchez Trace and Orient. I think it's Tangent. Heath would know. So if you're still here, please.
I haven't heard that anybody was doing them yet. Let me know.
Yeah, this manufacturer, they're making a whole bunch of fictitious railroads with rolling stock and locomotives. I think it's Tangent that's doing it, but I'm not 100% sure. I know Heath saw their booth at when he went to Amherst.
Oh, wow. Let me know.
Okay, so how has the AD&N not been acquired by a bigger railroad?
Well, AD&N, for all technical purposes, was abandoned in 1996 because Georgia Pacific bought another railroad that went to Monroe, Louisiana, called the Arkansas, Louisiana, Missouri. And instead of connecting with the UP in two different places, Monticello and Monroe, Louisiana, the AD&N was abandoned in 1996. Track taken up about a year later, and became the Arkansas, Louisiana, and Mississippi until its takeover by Genesee, Wyoming, January 1st of 2004.
And they were also connected to UP via the old Cotton Belt route with the Fordyce and Princeton. So it would have been like Georgia Pacific would have had 3 railroads coming out across it, connecting to UP in 3 different spots.
And pretty much when the ALM started running, the F&P was pretty much abandoned too. They didn't run from Fordyce down to Crossett anymore. Yeah. Unfortunately, G&W didn't run it anymore. After all the work that my father put into that railroad and GP, it was really sad.
So Split Rock, this is what I was talking to you about. I was wanting to do a test with you sometime because I think JMRI Decoder Pro has an issue of programming this correctly, this feature, because I tried to program it with Decoder Pro and it didn't work, and then I had to program it manually, and it did work on one of my locomotives. So I was wanting to see if that was an issue with my system or if it was just a general issue with Decoder Pro. So when you have some time, get with me and I'll get you to program the DDE a certain way, because I know you do run Tsunami too. All right, so Heath wants to know, do I need DDE if I turn the sound off on all my locomotives? If you turn the sound off, you don't need DDE. DDE is nothing but a sound feature. That's really all it is. Let's see here. And Randall's saying, sounds awesome. I have to get it on the club layout and try. Please do.
That'd be good. I'd like to see that.
ST70 Ace and AD&N paint scheme would look cool.
Hey.
That might have been one of those Natchez Trace and Orients. I think they did a -9.
Yeah. They did, yeah.
So, all right. So Bernard wants to know, what's my favorite decoder for steam locomotives? Tsunami 2, because even it has digital dynamic exhaust, meaning that when your locomotive is still going the same speed on a steamer, the chuff gets louder. And then as it goes downhill, the chuff gets quiet. So it's kind of the same thing. Okay, so he corrected me. It's not Tangent, it's Home Shop.
Home Shop, okay.
But I think they're using Tangent models to make it, if I'm not mistaken.
I'd like to see one.
I think Tangent's in there somewhere. That would be cool.
Yeah, it
An
would.
MP15AC AD&N and a Jeep 60. That would be really neat.
AD&N Jeep 60 would be okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
All right. Okay, so there we go. Home Shop's making the custom designs and having Tangent make them. And if Heath, can you look up and make sure and see if Home Shop is making the Natchez, Trace, and Orient? I think that was one of them. And there was another railroad that group did as well. And we got Possum Bayou here. So Possum Bayou actually gave Aaron a couple of the N-scale wood chip hoppers, the big ones. I think the Gundersons.
Yeah.
So, all right. So, Edward from Happy Valley Hobbies. Welcome, Edward. Does the prototypes make a 4-axle mainline freight locomotive? And I'm assuming he's talking about for the AD&N. The only manufacturer that I know that has made a actual prototype was Athearn, and they made the CF7.
They made that one and a bunch of other different short lines, and AD&N happened to be one of them.
Yep. And they did 2 runs. The first run, they did the 1513, and then the second run, they did the 1514. But
they corrected the problems.
Now, Walters did make a locomotive, and of course, like I said, I had 2 of these. I sold them to Rick Bailey after I installed sound in one of them and lights in the other because it was a dummy. But they made what was called a GP9M, and it wasn't a GP10. So, all right. So tell Steven I'll do a video from when they had the next display. Unfortunately, that probably won't happen until October. So we got a few months.
What display? What are we?
I think it was the Railroad Club up in Poplar Bluff. I think is it Poplar Bluff, Randall? All right, Jason, have you seen the real Cab Ford? The Only Survivor. I think you should make a video about it. I think you get a lot of views about it. I do know there is one, and I think it's out west in California. And of course, me being in Arkansas, that's like a 2-day drive. Grandpa Rails would probably have an easier chance getting to it than I would. And some other names to mention would be like Roy Eltham, Steve 87th. PSAP's a lot closer than I am as well. But I would love to. That is definitely on my bucket list, but I don't know when I will be able to make it. And then Arty saying, "Hey guys, sorry I was on the phone to Boston. What did I win and miss?" Well, Arty, at the very beginning of the show, I said you missed out on the pot of gold because St. Patty's Day has already passed. So, and you were hoping for some gold for being first here. So, too bad, so sad on that one. And so Home Shops, he's talking about, he does not see that one, but he sees the Arkansas Valley, which is one of the fictitious railroad names that Home Shops is coming up with.
Okay.
All right, let's see here. And Hot Rod Rodney says, if your decoder stops working, blame Heath. That's right, because we blame him for everything. Okay, West Plains, Missouri.
West Plains.
So, not Poplar Bluff, West Plains.
I run HO scale.
Yep.
So,
all right, and they have a Texas and Great Northern. That is what you were looking for. Is that the one that looks like the AD&N paint? Let me see your one of the switchers again. I'm going to show it. Because Heath was late, and he didn't get to see the custom painted locos up front. I think Home Shops has one. That's yeah. Okay, so he runs HO. HO, the only way to go. Not really. Like I said, Junior runs in. It's not my cup of tea.
I have some in-scale stuff, but I don't run it.
Yeah. And Heath is telling Rodney that he only blew up one decoder. Okay. So, Heath, what we're looking for on Home Shops is that they have something with a similar paint scheme.
Natchez, Trace, and Orient.
They had 2 of them. Natchez, Trace, and Orient was one of them. And then there was another one I remember seeing, but I can't remember where it was at. All right. We've got Scott Johnson here. And Scott is saying that Cab Ford is at the Cal State Railway Museum in Sacramento. So, Nathan, if you ever get a chance to go to Sacramento, go check out the Cab Ford, buddy. All right. Besides Tsunami, okay, Tsunami doesn't have DDE, but Tsunami 2 does. So there's a difference there. That was one of the additions on Tsunami 2 versus Tsunami. As far as DDE goes, no other manufacturer as of today has it. So, but that's not to say that another manufacturer would not come out with it later. And he said he was here at the beginning. He just was not chatting. And don't know why, Heath. All right. Let's stop the show and have Heath catch up. Yeah, why not? So if Heath is to blame for the decoder not working, maybe we can send Heath the bill for the fix. And Nancy is saying in-scale rules. Like I said, I don't have anything against in-scale except for my fat sausage fingers don't really like in-scale. So I'm an HO guy. I've been HO all the way. And when Santa brought my first train set, he said, ho, 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 or HO, HO, HO. And that got me hooked on HO.
Hey.
So is HO or in-scale like NCE or Digitrax? Not really, because you can run both HO and N on NCE or Digitrax. Technically, you could run them on both. Let's see here. Marky Saunders is saying, hello, late getting here due to whatever was going on. He was probably distracted because of Heath. So it looks like Marky Saunders was sidetracked from Heath. Well, Mark, we're glad that you're here, and better late than never. And I got my better half in here, Grit and Grace Health and Wellness. That is my wife's YouTube channel, so I guess she's trying to keep tabs on us, make sure that we're staying out of trouble. So, welcome, hun. I'm glad you're here. And let's see, I've caught back up to the chat again. Yay, that means y'all don't have questions. Let's see here. Jeff is saying that he has in scale. And Arty is definitely saying, oh yeah, send Heath the bill. So I'm thinking Heath is a little jealous of my beard because this is like what the third or fourth comment that he has made on my beard. And see, now you know why I let you go to sleep first. Because I'm the night owl and you're the early bird. So how big is my modern cab Ford compared to the one that you made me? All right, let me grab it. Here, you want to hold the blue one up for me? And I'll hold this one.
Sure.
All right. All right, there you go. Of course, the one that Nathan made me is like an American. It's a 440, and this one here that I have is a 4882. So it's a little bigger, but not too bad. All right, I'm gonna put that thing down before it gets dropped.
No, we don't want that.
No, that would be a bad thing if I dropped that one. That's a $500 locomotive. So, all right. So Randall is saying that the club in West Plains, Missouri operates HO, O, and S scale during both October and Christmas displays, and they have a temporary N scale layout that operates in October as well.
Oh, okay.
And Heath is saying you're more than welcome to send him the bills, but don't expect the collection on it. Now, the only reason, Amanda, that I've started using beard oil is because the company that I work for has finally said that we don't have to wear a mask. And the mask, I didn't want the beard oil getting in my mask. So that's why I have not been doing the beard oil, but I'm trying to tame it back out now that I ain't got to wear a mask. There we go. So Heath is jealous because I have more hair falling off my face than he does covering his head. I mean, yeah. I mean, if Heath wants to, I can cut all this off and make a toupee for him, and he'd have hair on his head. So that would probably be kind of gross, to think about it. All right. And Hot Rod Rodney is staying DC, HO scale like Ray. Yep, those are the only two that I know that are not going to go to DCC. So how about HO scale on Z gauge? I don't know what, Edward, what are you talking about on that? HO on Z? I'm not really sure. Let's see here. Thomas says, I have only one question and you should know what the question is. I do not know what the question is, Thomas, so please ask your question. And Dave BNSF said G is for me. Oh, wait, I'm in. Hey, I wish I could be like Steve Arnold and have 7.5 inch. I think it's called 7.5 inch gauge. I would put it in my backyard. I've got 2.5 acres and I would love to ride that thing.
Yeah.
So Steve Arnold, who is not here tonight, but he is one of the channels that I do follow. And he custom made a reefer car in 7.5 inch gauge to go behind his steam locomotive. And that reefer car actually holds this propane tank.
Oh, wow.
That fires the steam.
Nice.
So, and I think it actually operates off of actual steam. It's not like propane is powering it. Propane's boiling the water, which creates the steam.
Wow.
All right. So Jeff wants to know, do you have to oil the moving parts on N-scale steam locomotives or are they pre-lubed? That I do not know. So for you N-scale steamers in here, please let Jeff know. Let me know. Heath would look like a chia pet. And he is saying that would be gross. All right, so when you build your layout, are you going to build it for operations, kind of like how you got to play on my layout earlier, or is it just going to be a rail fanner's layout?
I love switching layouts.
All right, switching it is.
But it will have places where you can run, like you have.
Yeah.
But I like switching layouts, something challenging, something you can.
So now my question to tag on to Split Rocks, which his name's Thomas.
Hi, Thomas.
Are you going to model cross it?
Yeah.
Because they did have a big loop.
Oh, no. Yeah.
With those industries and yards.
Probably freelance cross it. But,
freelance cross it? Yeah.
Paper mill. Paper mill will be the big part of my layout. That is the central part of my layout because I grew up in a paper mill town and I love paper mills.
Yeah. And that's a big paper mill, too.
It was.
Big paper mill.
And plywood and tissue and everything else.
All right, so he is saying HOZ3. I've heard HON3 and HON30, but I have not heard of HOZ3. So is this like something new that I haven't heard about?
I've heard of HON3.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Which
M3.
HON3, but it doesn't use N-gauge track. It actually uses what they call TT gauge, tabletop gauge.
Yeah.
N-gauge is 9 inches. Or 9 millimeters, 9 millimeters, not inches, between the rails, and TT is 12 millimeters, so it's a little wider. Yeah. But that's what HON3 can use, is that. All right, so I've not heard of HOZ3, and Arty's telling me to go to 5 inches, and I'm working on it. Maybe the beard oil will straighten it out and make it not so crinkled. And Nathan, you hit the head of the nail with the hammer on that one. The better control. It's not even about the sound, when it comes to DC versus DCC. It's just that control. And Mark, depending on what equipment you do have, yes, it could cost a lot to convert because let me tell you, Athearn blue boxes and the first generation of Athearn ready to rolls, you have to replace the motors. If you've got like an old Atlas locomotive but had the Kato chassis and drive on it, those you could easily add DCC to with no problem. But yeah, some of those older ones you do have to be careful.
I have that problem also.
Yeah. All right, so Rendell's got both. The club layout also operates the way, however, the club layout can switch from DCC to DC with the flip of a toggle on the control panel. So I don't have anything against with anybody doing DC. For me, doing a switching layout would be a lot harder with DC than DCC, but I know it can be done. I mean, look at Ray Boebel, for example. He can do it, so, but, you would have to have so many throttles in order to control different areas of your layout where, I've got one system, even though I do have multiple throttles, but it's like a throttle for each person, and the throttle's not limited to a specific area of the layout. So that would be kind of that, the little difference on that. We got John Train BFGR here, and he says it's getting warmer outside, so it's time to get the G scale running. So I take it John did not have a G scale snowplow that he could use his G scale locomotives to push the snow off the track, because that'd be really cool. All right, so are there any current railroads that are green and white? That's a good question.
I don't think there are.
Oh, I don't think there is. There could be a short line somewhere, but definitely not any of the class 1s.
BN used to be.
Yeah, BN used to be, but I mean, the closest thing you could get to it would be the BNSF Grinstein paint scheme, but that's more green and cream than white.
I don't think there is.
So would HO on Z Skage be HON2? See that? I don't know. Or HOZ2? Not sure. Yeah, N is, Ray's right. N stands for the narrow gauge. So Georgia and Florida is green and orange. Aiken is green. Can't think of any green and white off the top of his head. So we've even stumped the railroad encyclopedia guy, Tim. So Joe is saying that his blue boxes had the original motors with Digitrax decoders. Now, is it just DCC or DCC and sound? Because one of the locomotives that I ran into was the SW7 that Steve Childers sent me. I tried to put sound in it, and it would not move. And I thought it was a bad decoder. And I ended up using a decoder when I did installs for Steve 87th. He had one in there that had the little toggle that you could go from DC to DCC. And I put it on DC. I wired that one in, put it on DC, stuck a 9-volt battery to it, and it would run. So I knew it was working there, but once I put it on DCC and put it on the layout, it wouldn't do anything. And then I took that decoder, put it in another locomotive that was not an Atherton Blue box, and it worked. So there is some type of compatibility issue there, and I'm not the first to have come across that. So I'm just curious. And Container Man wants to know where his track plan is. I have not got to that yet. You were on deck, or as Tom Grossi likes to say it, I've got 3 people in front of you, buddy. So we'll get to it eventually. Oh, here we go. Arizona and California has some still in green and white, he believes. And Grandpa Rails is even saying Arizona, California.
I don't know. I'd have to see one.
Yeah, we would have to look one up. And we got a few people saying that.
Okay, I have to see one.
And Joe is saying DCC and sound, which is yours Digitrax sound? I'm just curious. And what Atherton Blue box is it? Because the one that like I said, I tried putting it in a switcher. So maybe it was a switcher. I don't know. Hey, we got Dave P here with DES Media Production. So welcome, Dave P. And man, we've already gone an hour. Have you noticed that?
Wow.
It's already 8 o'clock here, 9 o'clock on the East Coast.
Could that guy that said about he sent us a picture of that Arizona, California? So I don't know.
Let's see if we can look it up real quick.
Okay. I don't know much about that one.
Yeah, I don't either. Let's see. Arizona, California. Whoops. Railroad. Let's see if we can look one up real quick. Go to images.
Let's see what I'm interested in. Oh. Well, how goodness.
Yeah, that kind of looks like the old Kind of looks almost like
It's
a
like the
BN.
California Northern used to look.
Yeah.
That's
All right. So I'm
California
fixing to
Northern.
share this so that way y'all can see it.
That looks like the California Northern used to look.
So there you go. Green and white.
Wow.
But it looks like,
Yeah. See there? They're going.
yeah, it's probably not going to be green and white for very much longer.
Yeah. It's just everything
So-
Genesee and Wyoming.
But this was something that Steve was talking about, is if you look between the A and the C, there's a little logo there.
Yeah.
So there you go.
And if you look up California Northern, they got the same paint scheme as that one.
Yep. All right. And Ray is telling me to check my inbox. Yeah, he was just showing me the same thing.
Okay.
So, and there you go. I think Atlas is making a lot of cool stuff. Atlas is really good when it comes to Alcos, because I have gotten a lot of Alco RS3s that were Atlases. And Grandpa Rail says he's got videos of those locomotives, which of course he lives out in California, so it would make sense. Randall Ellison saying that he has a pair of Atherm ready to roll Arizona and California Jeep 35s, and they're very nice locomotives.
Atherm just did California Northern Jeep 15s.
Yep. And so Tim is saying, yeah, they've been retiring the green and white, which is why he didn't think of it.
Yeah.
Excuses, Tim. That's all excuses. I'm just picking on you, buddy. Yep, we did mention that the BN execs are cream and green. So I did mention that earlier. They're not a green and white.
No, they were cream.
Yeah. So what is a good decoder tester? The piece of track and my NCE system that I use. That's really all I use to test decoders. What you can do if you're doing that is, grab some wires with alligator clips on it and get your multimeter. And you can clip to the rails and clip to the rail pickups on like a PMP board, or the wires if it's like a 9-pin, whatever. And you can use it to test all your voltages and stuff that way. That's how I do it. And that's how George at Soundtracks showed us how to do it. And Jack is saying Atherm roundhouse engines are a great buy. That is Athern's cheaper line, is roundhouse. And I mean, it's, if you like the molded on grab irons and stuff, I mean, it's good. It's good stuff. Atherm roundhouse today is like Atherm ready to roll, like in the mid 2000s. So, and of course, as these companies are making things better and better and better, because they're constantly having to compete with each other. Of course, their lower end lines are going to be, like what the higher quality was back in the day. And yep, there you go, Edward. Heath is a good tester, so give it to Heath. All right, Ray, you have a good one, my friend, and you take care. So how much longer you want to go, man?
What do you feel like? I'm here.
Okay. I mean,
However you-
tomorrow's Monday.
Tomorrow's
so-
Monday. Oh, there's another question for me.
Oh, we got a question. All right. So did the AD&N Power have air conditioners? Also, were the crews in a union?
No and yes.
So no air conditioners and yes to the union?
The SCF7s came with air conditioners, but Dad took them off.
Really?
And it was hot as heck on those engines, yes. And yes, they did have a union. It was UTU, I believe.
Okay. So Edward wants to know, what is a good tester before installing? So that, like what I said, this is what I do. I will take my PMP boards. I'm going to grab this cable so I can show it to you. Because I've got it right here. All right. So I will take this in and clip these to the rail. So that way you can see the alligator clips are in there. And then I'll take this in and clip them to the rail pickups of the locomotive, or the decoder, I mean. All right. Whether it's the wired harness, you have to trim a little bit of that plastic back to get it on the wire. Or if it's the PMP board, I just clip it on the board. And that will give the decoder power. And then you just take your multimeter check the motor contacts, check the headlight, the backup light, and, all the other lighting functions if you plan on using it. Check it in DC and, use your throttle to, speed it up, slow it down, turn the headlight on, off. That's how I test them.
Yeah,
So,
response to your question.
which one?
That one. Not going longer?
Yeah. Derek just got here. Oh, the bride's birthday. So tell the wife happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
So there you go. So Derek is wanting us to go. But the wife says you can go another 20 minutes. Yeah, because she'll probably just barge in here and be like, when are you getting off?
I'm having a good fun time.
Yeah.
Good time.
All right, so Atlas made some LAL and WNYP power a few years ago. The only ones that were doing it then, unfortunately, they were all bought before he could afford them. So keep your eyes on eBay because I've scored some really good deals here lately. Between all of the Alco RS3 cotton belt units that were all Atlas. One of them, I felt like after I looked at it, I paid $40 for the locomotive, and then I found out that the motor on the inside's all rusted. So, of course, I got to replace that motor in it. But, $40, that's not too bad of a buy, I would think. Yeah, see, told you. Yeah, that means she wants me to end this thing. Okay, so Randall says, I sent you a short video of the HO Club layout to your messenger so I can show Steven. And let's see here.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, and I see it. All right.
Show it to me later.
And Arty is saying that he needs one more RS3. I have 6 RS3s. I've got one RS1, which is the annoying horn one that you were playing with earlier.
I like it. That's cool.
It's got that Wabaco horn on it, man. It's like, it's that old school horn, like one chime. And then I've got 2 RSD5s.
Kind of sound like a tugboat.
Yeah, just about. All right. So I think we're going to go ahead and end this thing because we've already been here an hour. So
okay.
Unless you got some questions, I'm going to give you like 5 minutes to put some questions in there.
I'll come back a third time. Hey.
Yeah, he can always come back, you know. What I'd like to do is when we get the layout built a little bit more, maybe do some live, Sidetrack Sunday live streams where you're actually operating on the layout. I think that would be pretty cool.
I'd like more AD&N questions if you got them.
Yeah. So let me put it this way. If you were trying to model anything Ashley Durham Northern, no matter if it's like a specific type of rolling stock, caboose, engine, locomotive, whatever, that is your guy. He is my research guy too. So
I'll do what I can do to help.
Because there are some manufacturers out there that have put stuff out there that I found out wasn't prototypical. Walters being one. AccuRail and Boebel did the same thing. There's like 4 or 5 different numbers of the covered hopper that's floating out there, and only one of them is prototypical. The other
3002 is the only green hopper painted.
3002, and I had 3000, 3001, 3002.
Boebel did 3001, 3004, 3003.
Yeah.
3002 was the only actual. Not 3020, not 3018.
Passing by, you got something to send my way, man? I love some crawfish. I'm just one of those, I don't like working for them, but I do eat the mess out of Arty pre-shell crawfish. I love crawfish.
Whatever AD&N questions you got, I'll try to go from fictitious to real, whatever you think.
So Arty wants to know, what is my timetable for DCC decoder installations? I will be honest with you. I had quite a few people send me stuff all at once. Right now, I am sitting on 13 engines, which 2 is for one customer and 6 is for another. So if you're wanting me to do an install for you, my best suggestion is send it to me as soon as you can, so that way you get in line quicker. But also, I am mixing in the layout design because I've got Roy is wanting me to design him a layout, and I've got done, or I just finished doing Almar's layout a while back. I think he wants me to modify a couple of things for him, but that's fine. So those are kind of mixed in. So right now it's all first come, first serve. Next person on the docket, I've got an N-Scale Broadway Limited to do, and this one is going to be fun, let me tell you. And so that guy knows who it is, and so there we have it. All right, Adam Cruz, enjoy your hot bath, and I hope you get some good rest tonight. So you take care, my friend. And let's see here. Marky Saunders has got to go as well. So you take care as well. And we will see you next time. And I'm just making sure. All right. So I think we're not getting any more questions. So I'm going to let y'all do this. What I want for y'all to do is post in the chat where you're at on your subscribers. So that way others in the chat can easily see where you're at with things and try to help you grow as a channel. And if you've got any type of upcoming contest, some really cool video footage or something coming up, post that in the chat with your subscriber count. So we can try to promote everyone in this community. So, all right. And hopefully the chat will start blowing up when we do that. So Adam Cruz has got 51 subs. And Shay's N-Scale says he is next. That is correct. You are next. And Shay, I will be getting in touch with you. So, and Thomas Grossi is also at 54, and he is my on-deck person, so he's after Shay. So, DES says, how are the kits coming along? So I've got 2 kits that I thought about kit bashing together into one industry, and then I decided, nope, I'm going to actually build the kits, but they're not going to be built for the purpose that they were. But I also put in an order to ITLA. Joey from Late Night Model Railroad, I don't know if y'all follow him, but he has built this insane, massive industry out of these laser cut modules that ITLA makes, and so I ended up buying some of that stuff myself, and I plan on making a building out of it. Now, I can tell you as far as the kits go, the wife did help me go pick out some paints yesterday, so she is going to be hopefully helping me paint these things, and then we'll get these put together and put on the building. One thing I do need to do is build just a little bit more bench work, because when I was doing one of the operations videos that will be coming out very soon, I don't have enough track to pull the whole train past the switch to back in. So I'm going to have to build just a little bit more so that way I've got enough trackage to do that switch out. So that way I don't have to break up half the train, shove it in the tracks, go and pick the other half of the train, just do it all switch out at one time. So that's kind of where I'm at with that. All right, let's see where everyone else is. We got Grandpa Rails at 714, Marty at 323, and that is one of the guys that I did a layout design for. So if you're interested in it, go check out his channel for sure. We got 158 for Greg over at Midsummer Railway N-Scale, all the way from Australia.
Oh, wow.
Yep, Arty's from Australia too. All right, then we got Weber Model Railroader sitting at 768. Martin wants to know, what's the meaning of life? I really can't give you the answer to that question.
Wish I knew.
Yeah. Let me know when you find out.
Yeah.
Adam Cruz, I'll repeat one video planned for me this week, making custom color paint pens, and live in 2 weeks at the Rocky Mountain Trade Show on the 2nd. All right. Ken Amos at 113. Joe Rader at 259. Tim at 143, and he's going to be going to do a video talking about modular layout that he hopefully will be starting by May. So that's going to be really cool. And Bernard C is saying that he's fat and he should count for 2 subs. Container Man 68, which takes some really, really cool train footage from his truck. He was one who caught the cotton belt unit that's still patched, UP patched, and it still says cotton belt on the side. He caught that for me, which I thought was really cool. But
There's a few of them still out there.
Yeah, not many.
No.
Not many. I would I would love to see one in person. That is, Arty. So the other, of course, Australia, Ausmerica. He is at 153. We got Rendell Ellison at 286. Possum Bayou at 146. And Shay says, I might send you the Kato NW2 HO Loco that we talked about. He tried to install a decoder. Might have you look at it. It's not fitting right with the sound. And Shay, I've got a Kato NW2 that I plan on doing the same thing for. I would suggest let me get mine figured out before you send that to me. Because from my understanding, that one is a pain in the butt because the metal fills up the whole inside of the shell, but it's a split chassis. It's a HO scale locomotive that was built like an N scale. So there's a lot of milling that's got to be done on it. So on that one, I'm going to ask you to hold off and let me get mine figured out first, if you do not mind. All right. Bernard C says he is at 0. Well, Bernard needs to put some videos out so we can get him to 1. All right. Happy Valley Hobbies. That's Edward. 57 subs. Still doing his live stream, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So he's not in Eastern Daylight Time yet. So, or maybe he is and he just didn't mention it. But he's not doing recording now since he started a new job since January. So congrats on your new job. Grandpa Rail sitting at 714. And let's see here. Oh, here's the answer to the meaning of life. Trains.
There you go.
Trains.
Hey.
Trains. So there you go. Hey, Manshed is here, man. I was wondering if you were ever going to show up. Manshed lives over in Conway.
Oh. Hey, Manshed.
So,
how you doing?
So, Manshed, this is my buddy Steven. He grew up on the Ashley Drew and Northern. So you missed a lot of good content, man. You're going to have to go back and watch the replay for sure.
Any questions? We'll answer them later.
Yeah. We got Santa Fe Bob here. And he's going to catch the replay. And he says he thinks it was another great show. And, of course, it's a great show.
If you got any questions, we'll answer them later.
Yeah.
I'll be back.
All right. So Randall is adding on to the meaning of life. It's trains, dizziness, memory loss, trains, memory loss, and more memory loss. I agree with that one for sure. Let's see. Adam, it depends on the track is available right now. But all the 100 packs of tracks and the switches he needs are out of stock. Mm-hmm. Yeah, good luck at getting a lot of track right now. It's kind of hard. Your best bet is probably going the fast tracks route. It's a little expensive on the front end, but I heard it saves a lot of money on the back end. I'm thinking about doing that on the bottom level. So,
trains and cats. Trains and pets.
Yeah, trains and pets. Trains and cats. I don't have cats. I got dogs. I got 2 Great Danes. Yes, a good plate of sushi. I could go for some sushi right now. Let's see here. All right, so Bernard has been planning on a new name, Battle Torn Trains and Planes. Oh, that'd be cool. Hey, George is here. It's Catch 22, really. So, White Wall Wheels, 1 hardcore MOH. All right, guys. Well, we're going to go ahead and cut it. We have been live for over an hour and a half. I know some people want me to go 4 hours. I will only attempt that if I am off work the next day.
Trains and
videos. Yeah, trains and trains videos. More meaning of life.
Hey.
All right. All right, guys. Well, I appreciate y'all stopping in. I want to go ahead and give a thanks to all of those new channel members and those who have sent super chats and super chats and stickers from this time and previous times. So thank you. I'm going to go ahead and do our rollout video, and I did not get it updated for those who sent the super chats and super stickers. So that would be Heath, Humanity Junction. We got Rick from the Foltz Bailey Model Railroad. Dwight Curley sent a super chat on the last premiere. And I think the other one came from Lynn McCurdy. So if I'm not mistaken, if I did not get that right, I apologize. So other than that, y'all have a great one. I wish y'all a great week
Night.
and happy railroading.